I made a reference to Pablo Escobar. He didn't know how to convert the bag. Cash became his cash by itself is garbage. Okay, the rats will eat it. The mold will get it. It's just going to go away. It's being depreciated every second of every day. The greatest tax in the world is inflation. It's a hidden tax. So it goes down in value, right? They just print more. So its ability to buy things goes down in value because the price of things goes up. So what I do with money, okay, every day I get an account. First thing I do when I get to my office is I look at my cash accounts.
Okay.
The purpose, this is what I saw today. Okay, you don't tell them, I'll show you. Okay, I see this, okay, that's sitting in cash. Okay. I'm like, I have to convert this to an asset, not cash, because this will just continue to be taxed. Yeah. So there's a game in with the tax code. There's certain things that you can buy. A house is not one of them. A car is not one of them. There's a couple of cars that you can actually write off if they're heavy enough.
Over 6,000 pounds.
Yeah. So, that's why George Bush did that, by the way. Don't hate on George, okay? He's the one that pushed that SUV through there because he was tied to Exxon. Mm-hmm. So they're like, please keep the SUV going. Incentivize it with taxes. And that's how they keep the game going. The 401s and the IRAs, those are incentivized, not for us. They're incentivized for Wall Street. Pay people an incentive to make sure they push their money to us. And we will own and control that money for 30 or 40 years on Wall Street, and they can hope and wait for retirement. I'm telling you, it's a scam. I'm not a conspiracy guy. It's just obvious, right? So there's certain parts of the tax code, when they write it, if you study it, that allow me to go do things that takes advantage of the tax code. This is one of them, okay? So that plane, if you can afford to write a check for that plane or get a loan for that plane's brand new $61 million, okay? So at the end of, what year was it? By the way, the IRS will see this, okay? Okay? Here it is. It's the truth. That's how big the code is, and that's how legal this is. So at the end of the year, I had this big major tax bill. My accountant calls me and says, look, you're gonna owe X. I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. I've looked at everything, the accountant says. Everything has been looked at. I'm earning my money. I'm like, bro, something can always be done about it. Like, I have used this for 30 years. There's always something you can do about something. And the moment you throw in the towel and says you can't do anything, you just quit. So something can be done about it. So I start researching. I'm like, I could buy a plane. Wipe the whole thing out this year, the following year, and in the third year from now. So I called Gulfstream up and I'm like, hey, you guys got a Gulfstream 550? No, we don't have any. They're sold out for 2 years. Okay, so called them a second time. You got a Gulfstream 550? No, we sold out for 2 years. Called the guy back in. Can you find me something? Come on, man. I got 14 days till the end of the year. He's like, Grant, if I could, I would. I want to sell you a plane. It's going to be 2 years. So I went to my COO. I said, wire them $60 million. Wire Gulfstream $60 million right now. She sends the wire, hits the wire, boom, they get it. I call Rick up. Rick, go to your accounting department. Okay, I've done this more than once to people. So call your accounting department and he's like, oh my God, nobody's ever done this before. Can you find me a jet, Rick? Hold on 1 second. Calls the president of the company. They're like, we found you a jet. They delivered that jet with 3 days left in the year. I wrote off the entire jet that year.
So you wrote off $60 million?
Yeah, off my taxes. I wrote off what we agreed on. Okay, which was less than 60.
Okay, less than 60.
Okay, now the point of the story is if you can prepay into the future with assets, like last year, I bought millions of dollars of media for 2021 and paid for it in 2020 to reduce my tax bill in 2020 to zero.
Media?
Advertising.
Okay. So
like that show I did on Discovery, Undercover Billionaire, my ad comes in at 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, it's a 30-second ad. I paid them $1 million in December.
So just for the whole year?
I wrote it off for last year.
Yeah.
To reduce my tax bill.
But you paid in advance for this year.
And it's already paid for going forward.
It's like if somebody wanted to run an ad on your leisure, they would just
Dude, just dump it, man. They ought to dump it. Like in December, we start calling people, man, prepay for next year.
So when you paid $60 million for this jet, how are you using it for the next 3 years? Is it because of the maintenance of it? Or?
No. So, I own the jet, right? The jet's mine. So what I'm doing is let's say my tax bill that year was $30 million.
Yeah.
My tax bill went to zero.
Right.
This next year, I still had $30 million left to write off my next year income.
Gotcha.
So the game is, just so everybody understands, like my job, my goal is to reduce my tax bill to zero or below every year. Okay. I don't feel bad about it. Anybody hates on me because I don't want to pay taxes, hate on me. I'm going to figure out how not to pay these fools, okay? On the other hand, I have $2 billion worth of real estate that I pay taxes on every year. That's $40 million in property taxes. I have 500 employees. I pay taxes on these people, right? We produce and buy a lot of things. I'm paying plenty of taxes. There's like, how many different taxes are there? Income taxes, state taxes, purchase taxes, vehicle taxes, capital gains tax, get sick taxes, die taxes,
estate tax,
argue taxes, estate taxes.
Yeah.
I'm like, every time I look around, they're trying to tax me.
So your goal is to pay zero taxes
Dude,
every year?
play the game. Play the game. I told you if I could ever become a diplomat, I'd sell everything I have.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So the reason these guys take
can we rephrase it?
Yeah.
Mr. Ambassador, can you talk about that?
I took the job because I truly care about the Dominican Republic. I've been connected to the Dominican Republic for years. When I was in a cruise liner once, hey, there's the Dominican Republic.
Where are the receipts?
So, yeah, there's my receipts. So when a guy gets a job in a cabinet position with the U.S. government, okay, like the guy that did last year, his name's Tillman or something with Exxon. He left his CEO job. He had billions of dollars worth of assets. If he cashed out everything he had, he would have paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. Instead, he took a job on Trump's cabinet. At that moment, they wipe out his tax bill. He can sell everything and walk away with the bag.
And that's only while you're actually a diplomat? Or
No, you're good.
perpetuity?
Man. Well, no, he's good. No, I don't think it's perpetuity.
It's like while you're actually working that job.
But he'll cash out at that moment.
Yeah.
He'll now, rather than having, let's say he had $5 billion, rather than having half that, he has $5 billion to work with because he would have probably paid half that in taxes. He has the whole $5 billion to work with the rest of his career.
So he's saving $2.5 billion, even if the stay is, and I think he was 3 years.
He was there
maybe
3 years or something, Got all this power, all these connections. The point is, everybody needs to learn the games, man. Don't hate on the game. Don't hate on the player.
That's the real diplomatic community.
Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
Exactly.
So going back to real estate, do you feel like it's a real estate crisis about to happen? You talked about how many people's out of work.
I think there is a real estate crisis about to happen.
Who's it going to hurt?
It's going to hurt single family homes.
Not multifamily?
In the middle.
Not multifamily?
No.
Why not?
It's gonna, dude.
Especially like you said in states like New York, right?
Yeah,
where you can't even kick somebody out.
You shouldn't be in New York. I've been telling people for years, man. You got to stay away from places where you don't own the property. Like you don't own the property. You don't own it. If you owned it, you can get people out of your place. Like my house, my kids start acting up, I kick them out. I'm like, you got to get out of here now, okay? The moment the law says I can't kick my kids out, I don't own the house anymore, they do. Same thing with the tenants. So you guys that own homes, I know a bunch of people in New York that own stuff. They're scared right now. The banks are scared up there. Because if I can't collect the rent, I can't pay the mortgage. Yeah. And then what happens is the whole neighborhood goes down. When the shopping center down the street goes blank because the beauty salon, the restaurant, the bar aren't open, it hurts the whole neighborhood. Everybody gets brutalized by this. So I lived in California 25 years. I left there when they started their foolishness of raising taxes. I'm like, when they raised taxes, they should have lowered them. If they'd have lowered them, they'd have rolled in there and spent more money. But so you got to invest in real estate where you're protected, where you own it, you can control it. The tenant, the landlord, the owner of the company.
Landlord-friendly states.
Landlord-friendly, where they respect property ownership.
So that was your strategy? Because I know you've invested in multiple states. You're going into it thinking like, I need to be in a state where I'm protected as an owner?
100%.
Okay.
Property protected, landlord-friendly, taxes-friendly. Look where I'm invested. Right. Florida, Texas, Alabama, Southeast, all that northern, all that ice, those ice states are all going to migrate this way. It's happening now.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.